Hello, I'm Michael Sani. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bite the Ballot. I'm a social entrepreneur currently working in the political system, and my vision is for a representative democracy that's accountable to and driven by all citizens. Younger citizens are the least likely to participate, and that's what I want to change. The problem is a lack of engagement, a lack of meaningful engagement from the masses in our society. And there are root causes to this: a lack of education, a lack of safe space in the community or in the family or caregiver's home where we learn how to challenge, a lack of information or the ability to critically think and understand where that information's coming from and the purpose behind it. So what we're trying to do is slowly tackle each of these root causes. Bite the Ballot exists to empower young and socially excluded citizens to lead change within our society. Currently, our strategy operates across 4 key areas: education, educational resources, thought-provoking resources that can meet young people where they are within school. And through experiential learning games and calls to action, we can measure a change in their attitudes and ability to participate in our democracy. When someone's engaged and registered to vote, we really need to work on them understanding the issues that they care about and how those issues are political. And we do this through community engagement, online and offline. What underpins everything? Advocacy. We take our numbers, we demonstrate the change, we measure the attribution of our work, and we collate it and send it back into Parliament, local authorities, so that we can tackle some of the root causes by changing laws, updating education policy, for example, offering students the opportunity to register to vote when they enrol on their university course. These simple changes can affect the scale in which the change will come. Over the years, Bite the Ballot has also played a critical role in the rebranding of politics. What do I mean by that? This idea that all of a sudden now it's cool to care, it's cool to be curious, it's cool to play a role in the engagement of others. We've seen businesses come out and play a role in engaging their network. We've seen other organisations, public sector, private sector, getting involved in campaigns. Our most successful campaign, the National Voter Registration Drive, in 3 years has grown from 54,000 registrations to 1.83 million. A week of coordinated social action to reach those types of numbers is only possible with collaboration. We've been successful, again, through collaboration, to influence and change 3 pieces of public policy this year alone, working directly within Westminster, bringing in other organisations, having good case studies, good data, briefing MPs, briefing ministers, and you just keep going until you reach a tipping point that the change comes. Partnerships are essential to a vision like this. You need as many people working towards the same outcome as possible. Now for Bite the Ballot, the partnerships, we tend to think of it as it's about message and messenger. We've become experts in the message. We can engage those most alien to politics through issues, through our communications, but we don't want them to come to us. You need to go to where they are. So partnerships with big networks, big tech partnerships. We've worked with Tinder, Uber, Deliveroo, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. This is where mainly the younger audience find themselves on a daily basis, so let's bring politics to them. Outside of that, we've got politics in every space you can think of. Our smart network is so rich. We have people within the academic institution to help us with our research, to give our data that stamp of approval. We have people within the evaluation space to help access what we're measuring and are we measuring it the right way. We have politicians, councillors, we have school teachers, obviously younger citizens that help co-create our resources. It's endless and we need as many as possible. Over the years, we've seen lots of organisations replicate our model, our approach, and there's been mixed reactions. At first, you couldn't help but feel frustrated. Why are they doing what we're doing? Why are they trying to saturate the market with our idea? But when you step back and reflect, it can only be a good thing. If more players are coming into the space, if more people are creating more opportunities to engage, if more people are driving awareness, then in theory the outcome gets achieved quicker. And we're seeing a rise in youth engagement, meaningful youth engagement, a rise in the amount of young citizens registered to vote, therefore creating a demand for their vote, a rise in policies driven towards young people. And if you think about this last election, we've just seen the highest turnout of young voters in any election we've held in this country. When you turn an idea into an organisation, there's no manual, there's no rule book, there's no cardboard cutout of the ideal CEO. You learn by doing. Many things you learn is through your mistakes. And I've had to embrace that. I've had to understand the times when I've been the problem and reflect and understand how I would do it differently next time. One key thing I think is the biggest challenge is understanding the amount of time it has taken to even get here. Our achievements have been phenomenal, and maybe people would say in 7 years it's amazing, but that's a long time. 7 years trying to push the same agenda, trying to sell the same message in a different way, coming up against hurdle after hurdle and continuously keep going. That sheer resilience, I think, has been one of the biggest parts of anyone's growth, just because in 7 years you become a master at your area because you know it inside out. You know what would work, you know what wouldn't. You can sell your vision to organisations, you can sell your vision to partnerships. And so that sheer persistence and drive, I think, works hand in hand with this acceptance of delayed gratification. I've seen some changes, but will I really see the change that drives me? In the beginning of Bite the Ballot, we were very much concentrated on direct delivery, creating the workshops, training the staff, going across the country and delivering the workshops face to face. I went through the Globalizer program, as I mentioned earlier, and quite frankly, that made me realise that all I was doing was plugging the dam. I couldn't reach everyone, and every generation of 16s that were coming, it was the same problems. I was having to help them unlearn because they've developed misconceptions over the years, they've not seen their political power for whatever reason, so the work was coming too little too late. So we shifted our strategy to tackle root causes, to influence laws, to create resources that you can share and just let them scale. And I think as difficult as that was, and every time you change your strategy, you're essentially changing your culture. And some members of staff are prepared to come with you and some are not. So the team changes and you need to shrink down and not be afraid to stop. Reflect, rebuild, go again. I mean, we've been working for 7 years, so of course there's been compromises. In the beginning, it was about building a brand, it was about exposure, it was about trying to be in the press, in the papers, in the schools. And as you grow, and thankfully for me, having gone through the Globalizer program, it really shifted my mindset to thinking about scale. There's only one way to scale, it's to scale your impact, not your organisation. If the outcome is achieved, it doesn't matter who takes the credit for it, because the outcome has been achieved. For me, even becoming a social entrepreneur and working in this space, I had a profound moment. I was teaching, it was 3 weeks before the 2010 general election, and my boss, who was 34 years older than me, asked me if I was going to vote. And I looked at him and I said, I don't vote, politics doesn't affect me. 27 years old, I'd never registered, I had no clue what was local issue, what was a national issue, and my power as a citizen. And after that, that sense of frustration that I didn't know rippled over when I spoke to the students and asked them, all of those that were 18, who's going to vote? No one. And obviously it became clear that I wanted to explore solutions to that. And Bite the Ballot was a lunchtime club in that one school for 1.5 years, and I quit my job and rolled it out.